Rocky, ladies and gentlemen.
Rocky!
Yikes. What? I didn't think my pacemaker would do that. I think if we move back, we're better. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, wow, we're packed in here tonight.
That's not.
I think I could learn your names and we could become friends. There's seemingly nothing else going on. Anyway, I'm Uncle Rocky. I'm 68 years old. I've been married to Pixie for 41 years. Levi asked if anybody here was in a relationship. My wife raised her hand and I said, relationship? At this point, it's more like a life sentence.
True. True.
So, when I had a lot of pain in my joints, I go to the doctor. Doctor takes x-rays, puts them up on the board, and there's like all these white spots. So he says, do you know what this is? I said, well, if I knew what it is, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I says, is it bone cancer? He goes, well, no, not quite that bad. He said, but it is arthritis, and you have it from head to toe. He said, I can give you some meds, you'll get some relief, but you're going to have to learn to live with it. Arthritis makes everything stiff. Not everything. When I was a kid, I used to love getting buzzed with my friends. I'd smoke a couple of joints, buy a six-pack, listen to Led Zeppelin, and get really fucked up. It was nice. I've been trying to recapture that for years. Medical marijuana doesn't help. None of it helps. The only thing that helps me now is I get up out of a chair really fast and my blood pressure takes over. So there's 4 rules to aging. Pay attention because they may come in handy. 1, never pass up a bathroom. 2, never ever waste an erection. 3, you never trust a fart. And 4, and most importantly for me, you never get on the floor without a plan to get back up. You guys can see I've got more than a few tattoos. So Pixie takes me to get a new tattoo. I go in the place. She comes and picks me up. We go home. I get changed. I go to the backyard. We're sitting out by the pool. And she looks down and she goes, what did you do? I said, what? It's the new tattoo. She goes, why would you get 3 lines tattooed around your knee? I said, well, you remember when the kids were little, we would measure their growth by charting their growth on a door jamb. She goes, I get that, but I don't get this. I said, well, I'm really trying to measure the impact of gravity on my balls. She says to me, all right, I get that, but why the dotted line? I said, well, because when they hit the dotted line, I have to stop wearing shorts. At this point in my life, I walk in the bathroom now, and it actually takes me longer to start peeing than it does to actually pee. You guys will learn. Your prostate swells, it squeezes into your urethra, turns into a drip instead of a stream. Anyway, it's sort of like urinary Morse code, right? All of these dots and dashes. What do you got there? Are those potato skins? No? Oh, all right. So it's like urinary dots and dashes. Ships at sea now have started to respond to me. You know how you know you're getting really old? Your balls are longer than a CVS receipt. I've been looking for some extra ways to make money, and I've been looking at different business models. One of the business models I've been looking at is OnlyFans, right? All you need is a camera and a computer, and you're in business, right? So I decide that now, because I've had so many orthopedic surgeries, and I think I know what my target audience is, I'm going to develop a pay site only for people who have had multiple orthopedic surgeries. And I'm going to call it Only Scars. The other day we're driving on 75 and I seen multiple silver alerts. And I thought to myself, where do they end up finding all of these people? Are they at the villages? Are they at casinos? I don't know, but eventually they do get found. So, when you're married, for as long as I've been, every time you get up off the chair, your wife goes, you going to poop? You going to poop? And she's tamed it down over the years, because when we were first married, I'd get up and say, I'm going to take a shit. And she'll go, oh, that's disgusting. Then I tamed that down and I said, I'm going to drop a deuce. Well, she turned that into, are you going to poop? Now I just get up, I walk towards the bathroom, and I tell her, I'm going to deduce. Deduce. You know, menopause for us was an interesting time. I like to call it the thermostat wars. You know, I'd set the thermostat at like 72. She'd set it down to like 65. We'd go in the bedroom, and Christ, it would be like a climate crisis in there. We'd literally have snow flurries in the bedroom. It's just down there on the right. So we're in bed one night, and I hear bzzz. I get a little excited. I hear it a little loud, a little faster. Bzzz. Now I'm thinking in my head, Pixie's warming up in the bullpen, right? Bzzz. But no, she's not warming up in the bullpen. She's got the little fan from her nightstand, just trying to cool herself off because those hot flashes are a bitch. You know, one of the things about menopause for Italian women, it just reminds them that for the rest of their days, they're going to be dealing with a lot of facial hair. My grandmother at age 70 had such a luxurious beard, she was asked to front for a ZZ Top cover band. When we were moving down here, my friends, you know, we were living in the Northeast, they were all like, you're going to miss the seasons. And I said, nah, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to miss the seasons. And what I find out down here is that there's actually 4 seasons, right? There's the dry season, there's the pollen season, there's the bug season, and of course, there's the wet or hurricane season. Now, we just got out of love bug season, and I think the love bugs have been gone for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and we're still scrubbing Mother Nature's jizz off the windshield. It just won't go away. You know, I don't know if you could tell, but I grew up in the 70s. It was an interesting time. There were no cell phones. There were no photos. So no documentation, right? Because if there was, we would have all been subject to indictment. You know, now there's gluten allergies, there's peanut allergies. There's a whole generation of kids that could be taken out by a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know, and guys now, when we were kids, we would go to strip clubs. Levi would go to strip clubs. We'd smoke Marlboro Reds. We'd drink scotch. Now guys go to kava bars. You know, kava bars. They go to kava bars. They smoke blueberry vapes. They drink iced chai tea lattes. They even roll joints with little tiny filters at the end so the smoke doesn't burn their tender lips. And now I find out that they actually sit around and they talk about their feelings. I can tell you we didn't have feelings. We had cocaine, but we didn't have feelings. And whatever happened to pubic hair? I mean, you know, used to be all shag. And now it's just hardwood. Now I understand all the fuss about waxing. There was a very specific technique when I was a young man to muff dive. Let me demonstrate. You wanted to get all those loose hairs out of the way, so this way you didn't choke. Now, post-menopause, you do the same blow, but it's to get the dust out of the way. It's like a 1980s Nintendo cartridge. All right. Levi, you need more time out of me, or you good?
You're good.
You're good. All right. That's my time, everybody. I'm Uncle Rocky.
Keep it going for Uncle Rocky, ladies and gentlemen. It's insanely good. Oh man, look, I'm guilty as charged, dude. I stopped smoking cigarettes and started vaping. I thought it was better to die from AIDS than lung cancer. I guess. Sucking on that road.